Hello, thank you Margot. So thank you for having me here today. Today is the culmination of some research that I've been doing with the Neighbourhood House for about 6 months now. And the questions that we wanted to address, as we've spoken about, is housing issues in our town. I say our because I'm a local girl, I grew up here, I now live not far from here, and I work for Northern District, so I'm here quite regularly. So I consider myself, a local girl. So this project is something that's been very dear to me. I just ask you to bear with me. We may have told Jack that we are a very healthy community, but I've been on the couch all week with throat infection, so this is the most talking that I've done in a week. And for those of you that know me know that's a pretty big effort. So Neighbourhood House, obviously, they created this opportunity for me. Today is part of this opportunity, and the research is funded by the Regional Development Victoria and conducted by myself as part of our This is Cohuna, celebrating our heritage and unique neighbourhood assets. So why do we do this research? The research has come about from community opinions. The crew at Neighbourhood House, and I'm sure other people around, have heard many different opinions about housing in our region. No suitable housing for professionals and their families. These are opinions, not facts. Limited affordable rentals, and lots of empty farmhouses that were being underutilised. Now these are things that I'm sure you've all heard time and time again, but what we realised is that there's also not enough suitable housing for our elderly or ageing population. What we realised is that no existing research. It was all opinions, all hearsay, all based on people's thoughts. So what we've done is we've done a bunch of community consultations to actually find out what the issues are. Sorry, it's not very lovely at the moment. Okay. So first, let's look at our little township of Cohuna. So we're northern central Victoria, you know that because you're all here today. We have a population of about 2,500 and it's pretty even in its gender splits. But we are an ageing population, so the median age range is about 51 years. Agriculture is still our biggest industry. And I've just put the Gunbarra River in there because they're two of our biggest assets. They're absolutely beautiful and they're a highlight of our town. Probably can't see on this screen, but I've also got a table up with our housing breakdown from the 2016 census. So we've got just under 1,100 properties or just over, and nearly 90% of them are occupied, but it's that 12% there that are unoccupied that we're a little bit concerned with as well. And as you can see, most of them are separate houses. They're the old style weatherboard house or some of the new houses, but most of them are separate. We don't have a whole heap of townhouses or units and flats lying around. Another part of the research directive that we had was to look at Rapanya, which is a township in the Wimmera region, and some of their social enterprise initiatives. I'm not sure if there's anyone here today from Rapanya. No? They've done some amazing stuff over the years. They're a very active or proactive community. Of particular interest to me in my research was the information memorandum that they've done. The information memorandum and the Wimmera housing investment analysis looked at sort of creative solutions, I suppose, for housing issues similar to us here. They are another regional community that's highly agricultural based, grain though, not dairy. And they were starting to notice a drop in housing availability as well. Similar things to what we're doing here. The information memorandum offered 2 investment solutions or opportunities for the region. So that was a useful document. However, my research and discussions with Rapanya revealed that it was never analysed, so I wasn't able to get any results from it. The ERA, I would suggest it's a community organisation like our Progress Association. It's made up of some very proactive community members who've done quite a lot of things to try and keep their communities going, to reinvigorate their community, and really just to transform it. They also had the first community bank like some of the ones we now see popping up in our small towns. And going back to what Jack was talking about before, they've really embraced migrants in their community. It's a way of filling up some of their older houses, increasing the workforce, and really just invigorating the population. So it's a lot of that stuff that Jack was talking about before. And I think, listening to Jack talk, that what really came through in some of this investigation and the discussion I had with some of the Rapania locals is that the issues we have here in Cohuna are not isolated. Many of the other towns I'm talking to, and I'm speaking to someone here today from Loddon, who I work closely with, who's struggling with the same issue. We're not alone. So Jack talking today about us sharing these solutions and this research is exactly what needs to happen. We need to support each other to come up with creative solutions. So we had two research aims. I worked very closely with the board on this project, and we came up with the two aims. The first was to explore the community opinions of housing concerns in Cohuna and identify key themes. And the second, as I've mentioned, to investigate social enterprise models such as those in Rapania to address regional housing issues. So that's really where we started. What do we want to know? We came up with 4 key areas identified by myself and Neighbourhood House. Firstly, what available housing is there for workers or professionals contracted to work in Cohuna? So this ranged from, GPs, engineers, to teachers, hospital staff. Wanted to look at, people want to come to Cohuna, but what housing is available for them? What housing is available for older persons or couples moving into towns from farms? So we know we have an ageing population. We split this into 2 bits though. There's people with capital and without capital. So many, if you're not unsure what that might mean, it means people who may have been able to sell their farm and move into town, or people who have passed the farm on to another generation. So there was 2 prongs to that. And finally, what affordable housing is available for people on low incomes, which is pretty self-explanatory. So how did we do it? I did community consultations with a range of community members. We did them individually, knowing that it's a small town. We wanted people to have the space to say what they needed and what they felt was true for them. And we included as many people as we could. So we've got businesses, we've got hospitals, we've got local organisations and groups, and real estates as well, and schools and churches. So there was a wide range of people or different aspects of our community addressed. The key themes that emerged. So what we found is that what we thought was quite similar to, or what we got in initially with those opinions, was quite similar to what the community consultation revealed. So for businesses, there was a huge lack of suitable housing for professionals, whether that be housing for families or for single professionals, suitable housing for single professionals. So these houses need to be of a standard for people to live in. We want people coming into town with a standard of living from the city. We want to attract them here. They need to feel that they can have that here. They need to be within walking distance to schools for those with family. They need to be easily maintainable for people who may be working long hours, or even down to a lot of the older houses we have, you have wood fires. If you're from the city and you don't have a trailer and you don't know anyone and you're working full time, how do you get wood? The next thing we found is that there's not enough affordable, cost-effective and easy to maintain properties for elderly people wanting to downsize or rent. That one is self-explanatory, I think. We do have some beautiful smaller houses here, but if you're someone who is living in an old weatherboard house that is beyond your capacity to maintain and it's not energy efficient, and you want to move into something that's more suitable for you, that's not always possible given the cost of that move, that property, and the return you'll get on the house you're in. There's also a lack of affordable housing for people on low incomes. We'll get a bit more into that later. There's many older rundown houses around the town for sale. And now this one's probably one that is contentious. I spoke to a lot of people about the farmhouses, and I got the same outcome most of the time. So many of the farmhouses that are vacant are either not suitable for living, or farmers are reluctant to rent them out due to things that have happened to them in the past, or high risk. That was the feedback I was getting. The risk of someone being a little bit further out of town, being vulnerable, being not able to maintain the property, and the outcome of that. That was the feedback I was getting. And an interesting one that I would say probably 60 to 70% of the feedback I got was that there's a lack of childcare that is an issue. It's hard to link childcare directly to housing, but from the businesses, especially that I was talking to, they have staff who can't get childcare. They can't get childcare, they can't afford to live in the style of the housing that they're living in. It's a huge impact on both the business that can't get staff and an impact on the families that can't get childcare. It was just a question, it was a response that I got repeatedly. So it seemed to warrant a little bit more investigation. So let's look into the workforce housing. I did talk a little bit about this before, but it's suitable housing for professionals and their families coming to the town. So there's a lack of that 3 to 4 bedroom housing of a particular standard. It's easily maintainable and suitable. So little things like being able to have pets there, having an office for a professional, 3 or 4 bedroom house. If they've got kids, there needs to be an office. Things like that emerge. And then the 1 to 2 bedroom units for single people. One thing that rang true from the businesses is that many of the people that they bring into the town don't want to buy straight up. They prefer to rent. So if this is an upfront issue, then we've got people going elsewhere already. And the cost of living in current properties, as I was saying, is too high for many older people, particularly those who may have found themselves suddenly a single on a pension, who may have lost a partner, who may have finished working. The cost of living and being in, say, an old weatherboard 3-bedroom house or a big block is too expensive. Also, we looked at the impact on pensions for the elderly people who may want to sell and buy. Sometimes there's a bit of an impact there on Centrelink or their assets. So many older people whose partners pass away, these are quotes from people, direct quotes, suddenly on a single pension and unable to afford their old lifestyle. Many of them suffer in silence, not using heat or air conditioning to save on electricity bills, putting them at greater risk. So you can see that something small becomes something big. Affordable housing. So there's a lack of affordable housing for people on low income. This was an interesting one. There is houses to rent. There is a few. Whether they're suitable or not for everyone is debatable. But there are a lot of people on a low income who do not have a great rental reference or great rental history and who do not meet eligibility criteria. So for the people who fall into that sector, housing just doesn't exist. What does exist can often, as we've spoken with the older people, can often be more costly for them and harder to maintain, once again putting them at risk. And in some situations where they can't find housing through the proper channels, they may do private arrangements, which means they're then at further risk. So they may be in a house where the rent goes up, but there's no rental agreement. So unless they pay that rent, they've got nowhere to go. Those vacant farmhouses, they're either unsuitable for living in or too high maintenance for the rental market. So these are the reasons that I was given from a range of people as to why many of these vacant farmhouses can't be rented. And don't get me wrong, this is not all farmhouses. There are some that have rented out successfully and beautifully, but for those that didn't want to rent theirs out or knew of houses that weren't suitable, these are the reasons that I was given. The properties are often too big for tenants to maintain. They require additional costs, which some tenants don't go in aware of, such as water and sewage, and if there's animals, feed for animals. Things like reliable transport and vulnerability and risk were taken into consideration. And for the property managers or landlords to ensure the maintenance of the property. Apologies, it's just happening. There we go. We didn't just look at the negatives though, we looked at some of the things that are working. Property development here is something that is working. So we do have some beautiful housing developments around the region. The Island Rise is nearly full, some out along Western Road. There's stuff that's gone well. The corner blocks were a great example. So I think 15, 20 years ago, the Shire proposed to look at some of the corner blocks and tidy them up, and there's some beautiful little units around town that many of you will recognise. Compared to the city, rent is affordable. Having worked in housing previously, anywhere outside of here is incredibly expensive to rent, particularly those on low income. So here it's reasonable. But the thing that everybody that I spoke to was in agreement with is that people want to live here. We have this issue because people want to be here. People want to work here. They want to bring their families up here. And they don't want to have to leave. So that's a positive thing, is that people want to be in this town. So that's where we get to this last bit here. As part of the research directive, I looked into recommendations from social enterprise models or recommendations that perhaps could be further explored, I suppose. The first was 2 different investment opportunities, similar to the Repanium style. Given that we had some very diverse issues here, so they're not all one cohesive problem. We're looking at higher income, lower income, older people. We've proposed 2 investment opportunities. So one being a 2 to 4 unit complex with 2 bedroom units for people over 55 years of age. And the second is 4 bedroom houses for professional families to rent for 3 to 6 months. That 3 to 6 months is looking at that when people come here, as we said, when they come here to work, they don't want to buy initially, they want to rent. So give them that 3 to 6 months on a contract in that house, give them that time to fall in love with Cohuna, and then go from there. So these recommendations are for further research. The next one is financial incentives for young persons to purchase existing stock and renovate. This one it's probably a little bit cheeky. It came about from one of the people I was interviewing. I won't throw her name in put her out there. But yeah, houses here for the older houses here are quite affordable for young people to buy. We've got a lot of stock sitting there and waiting to be brought. So the lady I was talking to, her son, I'm sorry if anyone knows her name, I don't know her son's brought a house in Gumbel, not Cohuna admittedly, but he brought it and has done it up to a living standard. And sorry. Sorry, nearly got there. He's done it up to a standard that he can rent out to 2 of his friends. He lives there. He pays $30 a week on his mortgage. He doesn't even have to live there if he doesn't want to, because it's not costing him anything. So the idea for this proposal was we have a lot of young professionals come into the town. I work at Northern District Community Health. We have a lot of young professionals come from uni or early career life. Let's put them into houses with people who are from here. People who already live here, have networks here, have social connections. Let's put them in houses so that they can meet people and, and want to stay perhaps. Not that they don't want to stay anyway, but give them more incentive to stay. So that kind of kills a few birds with one stone too. We're using some of this old housing stock, we're addressing our ageing population, and we're creating social connections. The third suggestion, or the fourth, if you consider the first two as two, is negotiations and discussions with community organisations and real estate to support persons who do not meet eligibility criteria. So this looks at specifically getting those organisations and real estates together with programs such as PRAP, which I won't go into too much detail with, but PRAP is a program that supports people to stay in rental properties. It is in the report, there's a bit more information about it, but there's money there to support people to stay in rental properties. So, negotiation. There's capacity there for negotiations. And the final recommendation that I made was a working group. The biggest thing I could see through this whole research project, and also with the board, is that everyone here is invested in this outcome. Everyone here is passionate about the outcome, but they're not all on the same page. A working group to follow up these recommendations, making sure that everyone has buy-in, everyone has a say, and everyone has capacity to know that these issues are addressed in the right way. And also to get the discussion flowing a bit further. So that was my major recommendation that I felt, and the board felt that would do well. So, thank you. I'm not sure how much time we have left, Penny.
Zero,
sorry. I told you I like to talk. Thank you. You can catch me, I'll be around for a little bit if you've got any other questions, but also catch up with Tanya or Margot